In the shadow of Atlanta's gleaming skyscrapers, where the American dream dangles like a lure for the desperate, 1 in every 7 women teeters on the brink of homelessness, their futures unraveling faster than a cheap motel sheet. Sarah Thompson, 32 years old and frayed at the edges, embodied that statistic on a sodden June night in 2018. Curled on the gritty sidewalk of Peachtree Street with her 5-year-old daughter, Mia, clutched against her chest like a fragile shield. The rain hammered down in relentless sheets, turning the pavement into a mirror of shattered hopes, while the garish neon from a nearby Waffle House sign buzzed like a mocking heartbeat, illuminating the tear tracks, carving rivers through the grime on Sarah's face. She'd lost it all in a blink. The cramped but cozy 2-bedroom apartment in East Atlanta, where Mia's crayon drawings still ghosted the fridge door. The soul-crushing but steady cashier gig at Publix that paid $12 an hour for stocking shelves from dawn till her feet screamed, and the thin veil of security that let her tuck Mia in with bedtime stories instead of survival prayers. Now, their world fit into a battered duffel bag of thrift store clothes and a backpack bulging with Mia's beloved stuffed elephant, its button eyes staring blankly at the storm. Sirens wailed in the distance, a symphony of the city's underbelly, as Sarah rocked her daughter, whispering fierce promises into the damp curls. "We're gonna rise, baby girl. Mommy's got you." But as lightning cracked the sky like a divine indictment, doubt clawed at her throat. How could a single mom, abandoned and broke, claw back from this abyss before the streets swallowed them whole? The stakes weren't just survival. They were Mia's wide-eyed trust, the generational curse of poverty. Sarah swore she'd break. That night, under the relentless downpour, Sarah's vow hung fragile as a spider's thread. Would it snap, or weave her into something unbreakable? Sarah's unraveling hadn't crashed down overnight. It simmered for years in the humid embrace of Georgia's suburbs, where the scent of magnolia blossoms masked the rot of unkept promises. Born in 1,986 inches, the quiet grid of Decatur, just a stone's throw east of Atlanta's pulsing heart. She grew up in a shotgun house on a street lined with chain-link fences and phone 150 seconds parked on crabgrass lawns. Her dad punched the clock at a Ford assembly plant for 30 years, coming home with grease-blackened hands and tales of overtime bonuses that bought the family's first VCR, while her mom ladled out mystery meat in the cafeteria at Decatur High, her apron stained with the dreams she shelved for stability. Sarah soaked it all in like sweet tea on a porch swing, acing algebra and biology with visions of nursing scrubs and stethoscopes, the kind of career that promised shifts ending at 3 p.m. for soccer practices and PTA potluck. But college brochures arrived, stamped with price tags that loomed like thunderheads, $20,000 a year at Emory, out of reach for a family scraping by on $48,000 combined. So, at 18, fresh from her cap and gown, walk across the football field under those Friday night floodlights. Sarah traded textbooks for barcode scanners, landing a cashier spot at the Publix on Glenwood Avenue. Punch in, grind out, cash the check, that's the ticket. Her dad grunted over dinner, his words etching deep the belief that loyalty and elbow grease built empires, one grocery bag at a time. She bought it hook, line, and sinker, marrying her high school flame, Jake Thompson, at 22 inches, a backyard bash with plastic tablecloths, a $200 cake from the bakery aisle, and 50 kinfolk toasting with lukewarm Bud Lights. Their early days tasted like victory, a 1-bedroom walk-up in Midtown Atlanta for $850 a month, walls papered with Mia's ultrasound printouts, and weekends blurring into lazy loops around Piedmont Park, where the dogwood petals rained like confetti on picnic blankets. Sarah's shifts ran 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., her sensible Nikes squeaking on linoleum as she bantered with retirees about the Falcons' latest fumble, while Jake wrenched on transmissions at the dealership down on Moreland. Their combined $45,000 a year, stretching just far enough for date nights at the Varsity Chili Dogs and orange shakes under buzzing signs. Mia arrived in 2013 like a plot twist, her first cries echoing through the delivery room at Grady Memorial, turning exhaustion into ecstasy. Sarah juggled burp cloths and break room microwaves, her core creed unshakable. Love locked it down, hard work paved the road, and family was the forever firewall against chaos. But as Mia toddled into twos, the firewall flickered. Jake's late shifts stretched into phantom hours, his phone lighting up with texts from a parts girl named Lisa, and the mailbox fattened with envelopes stamped urgent in red. Sarah shoved them into drawers, telling herself it was temporary fog, not fracture. One sticky July evening in 2015, as cicadas droned outside their window, Jake slung a duffel over his shoulder, muttered, "I can't do this anymore," and vanished into the taillights of his buddy's truck, leaving behind a confetti storm of credit card statements totaling $8,500, debts from high-stakes poker dens tucked in little 5 Points basements. Sarah sank to the kitchen floor amid the bills, Mia's sippy cup rolling away like a fleeing dream. The man who'd vowed till death had ghosted, and with Mia's preschool tuition, $650 a month, at the church down the block due in 2 weeks, Sarah faced the wreckage alone. How could she stitch a life from these tatters without unraveling completely? The descent gathered speed like a runaway MARTA train, each jolt ripping away another layer of the woman Sarah thought she knew. She armored up in denial at first, slapping on a smile for Mia's "Why Daddy gone?" queries while logging double shifts at Publix 50 hours a week now, feet throbbing in those same Nikes as she rang up organic kale for yoga moms who eyed her like an exhibit. The 2017 recession's tailwinds hadn't fully died. Corporate emails pinged with efficiency adjustments, slashing her schedule to 28 hours by spring 2018. Her bi-weekly paycheck shriveling from $2,100 to $1,450, barely a whisper against the rent hike to $1,200 on their East Atlanta walk-up, where the walls seemed to lean in like accusatory whispers. Food stamps stretched thin over ramen nights, and peanut butter straight from the jar. But pride barbed her from calling home. Dad's plant had shuttered in the layoffs. Mom's social security, a trickle for their meds. Instead, Sarah turned scavenger. Twice monthly plasma hauls at the clinic off Moreland Avenue, each 90-minute needle prick netting $50, but leaving her woozy veins mapped like fault lines. Mornings blurred into Mia's daycare drop-offs at the underfunded center on McDonough Boulevard, where overworked aides juggled 15 toddlers, and Sarah bolted back for the lunch rush, scanning barcodes till her eyes blurred. Evenings, a frantic resume blitz 42 fired off in a haze, from barista pours at the Starbucks on Ponce de Leon to filing clerk desks at the county courthouse. Rejections snowballed like Atlanta's rare flurries. Experience mismatch, from the nursing aide spot she'd prepped for with flashcards, her interview suit from Goodwill hanging loose on her frame. Team dynamic not aligned from a bank teller gig, code for single mom baggage. One email gut-punched hardest a polite regret from Emery's admin pool after she'd poured her soul into the cover letter, dreaming of that old nursing fire. Self-doubt slithered in, a serpent whispering she was too broken, too ordinary for second chances. Then the guillotine dropped. The 15th of August 2018, a yellow eviction notice slapped to her door like a scarlet letter. $3,600 past due, plus $200 in fees. The landlord's voice gravel over the line. "Cash or out, Miss Thompson." She crammed their lives into trash bags, Mia's, crayons scattering like shrapnel in the Civic's back seat, and burned $160 on 2 nights at a roach trap motel off I-85. The AC rattling like accusations. By week 3, the gas gauge flatlined. She idled in the Walmart lot on Memorial Drive, engine killing at dusk. Mia conked out to the symphony of shopping carts and security patrols. Showers? Stolen in the stadium restrooms at the old Turner Field site, now a hipster haven where brunchers sipped mimosas oblivious to the shadows. Hunger carved hollows in Sarah's cheeks. She skipped lunches so Mia could gnaw dollar store PB&J. The toddlers, "Mommy eat too?" piercing deeper than any knife. Section 8 applications. Waitlist stretched 18 months, a bureaucratic black hole. Shelters overflowed, Mia too young for family slots, leaving Sarah to pace rain-slicked lots, phone dying on pleas to distant cousins. Despair crested that June night on Peachtree, thunder booming as she rocked Mia under the blanket, the city's pulse mocking her frailty, sirens for others' crises, neon for feasts she'd never afford. "We're okay," she lied into the storm. But the lie cracked. How long before the system or her spirit ground them to dust? Dawn cracked the horizon on the 19th of September 2018, 7 years to the day before this reflective morning, as Sarah trudged into the Atlanta Union Mission on Lucky Street, Mia's tiny hands sticky from a pilfered apple core. The lobby reeked of industrial cleaner and desperation's undernote, red-aproned volunteers doling out meal vouchers like lottery tickets. Sarah's eyes snagged on a wiry woman in her 50s, braids silver-streaked, folding donated jeans with the efficiency of someone who'd danced this edge before. Evelyn's name tag gleamed under fluorescence, her gaze steady as she sized up the newcomer. "Fresh face?" she asked, voice low and knowing, sliding a child-sized hoodie toward Mia. Over styrofoam mugs of Folgers that tasted like regret, Sarah unloaded the ghost of Jake, the $8,500 debt avalanche, the 42 no's that echoed like chambered rounds. Evelyn listened without the pity Sarah dreaded, her nods rhythmic as a heartbeat. "Losing the script ain't the finale, sugar," she said, gravel in her tone from decades scraping Atlanta's belly. "It's the rewrite. What's your next chapter?" From her apron pocket came a creased flyer. "Intro to Python free virtual workshop, Atlanta Tech Village, Mondays at 4. Coding?" Sarah's laugh barked hollow. She wrestled her ancient flip phone just to text Jake's mom for Mia's old clothes. But Evelyn leaned in, eyes sparking with her own lore, from diner slinger to grant writer for the mission, one community college night class at a time. 1 hour daily, she urged. "That's the key, turning the lock." Sarah pocketed the paper, its edges soft as hope, and as she bunked Mia on a lumpy cot that night, the flyer's weight burned in her pocket. Could lines of gibberish on a screen really ransom a life bartered to the curb? That flyer morphed into Talisman, a crumpled beacon against the mission's humdrum grind. Mondays dawned reluctant, but Sarah commandeered a clunky laptop from the Peachtree Branch Library's free access nook, a 1.2-mile schlep each way in blistered Keds, backpack thumping like a drumbeat of defiance. The workshop beamed in from Atlanta Tech Village's Buckhead Polish, perky instructor Raj demoing Python loops that swam like foreign fish on her screen. Fingers clumsy on keys, worn smooth by strangers, Sarah botched her first script thrice. Error chimes blaring as Mia perched on her knee, poking the monitor with jam-smeared digits. "Mommy's fighting the magic box." The girl giggled, but Sarah's cheeks flamed. Who was she? Shelf stalker turned shelter dweller to chase digital dragons. Yet Evelyn's rewrite echoed, so she carved slots. 5:30 a.m. wake-ups in the communal kitchen, measuring oatmeal packets with ritual precision before Mia's braids and story time. By 7, library bound, she'd grind 2 hours. On Codecademy trails, notebooks splayed with scribbled syntax. Day 12, variables down, 70% quiz. Afternoons hustled survival. Dog walks in Inman Park's leafy lanes, 3 leashes a day for $15 each, $45 jingling toward Mia's thrift kicks. Evenings looped back to code. Coursera tabs from Google's free certs flickering blue against motel vouchers flicker. Setbacks ambushed like potholes on I-20. Mia's 5-day stomach flu in late September sidelined sessions, Sarah begging clinic samples while the class vaulted to conditionals, stranding her in syntax purgatory. Reboot? Torture? She nuked a practice budget tracker for single parents on day 18. Debug loops, looping endless after 20 futile stabs, slamming the laptop with a sob that echoed off library stacks. Fool's errand? Doubt hissed, but dawn dragged Evelyn's care package granola bricks and a forum-loaded thumb drive. 7 falls, 8 stands, the mentor quoted, grip firm. Sarah stood, pacing aisles to sweat out the sludge, logging 450 hours by January 2019. 22 modules conquered, 15 mini-builds shipped, her notebook a scarred atlas of skirmishes. Mia aped the fervor, stacking Duplos like code nests, chirping, "If rain, then umbrella." Laughter seeped back, shy as crocuses on Forsyth Street. Gig scraps sweetened the pot, a $200 tweak for a neighbor's blog by February. Venmo pings like victory bells. But March's muggy thaw brewed bigger. The workshop's capstone hackathon, no fee entry, but sky-high stakes, a Buckhead startup mentorship on the line. Sarah's brainchild coalesced in stolen nights. A gig scheduler for parents, syncing nap times to shift slots in Atlanta's sprawl. Code wove tight. But as the April deadline loomed, a glitch gnawed. Would it hold, or fracture like her fractured vows? The hackathon weekend, in April 2019, slammed into Sarah like a caffeine crash. Atlanta Tech Village, thrumming with the electric hum of 30 teams. Hoodied coders, chugging Red Bulls, amid venture vultures in crisp Oxfords. She rolled up on vapors. Mia boarded with Evelyn's kin for 48 hours, her one ironed blouse from the missions bin, clinging damp under the AC's chill. 72 hours blurred into a gauntlet, fingers blurred over keys in a corner carol, pretzel crumbs, mapping her app's guts, a parent portal plotting Uber hauls around school bells, geofencing a 5-mile radius for the city's vein-like freeways. Input chaos, output calm. She pitched in fevered notes, predicting 20% earnings bumps from synced slots. Judges prowled at dawn too. Marcus the Techstars vet zeroing her with a squint. "What's the hook?" Sarah demoed, voice threading steady, but the geolocation bug reared freezing twice, her pulse thundering as she ad-libbed fixes, sweat beading like code errors. The room tensed for tallies. Third place flashed, not gold, but Marcus's card burned in her palm. "Mentorship yours, 6 months weekly. Scale it." Euphoria bolted through her, raw as moonshine burn, the first fracture in despair's grip. Ripples cascaded. September 2019 tallied $12,000 in freelance scraps, site polishes for a little 5 Points cafe. Paid in two $800. Venmo drips enough for a $600 a month, shared room in a Grant Park halfway house, walls thin but hers. Mia slotted into Head Start, free and a 5-block stroll, her backpack swinging with kindergarten glee. Stumbles nipped heels, a client vaporized after 20 revision rounds. Rent teetering, but Sarah swerved, crashing women who code meetups over Zoom lattes, her portfolio bloating to 8 builds. Billables hit 20 hours weekly by December. The Civic's tires renewed at $450 after 14,000 Mercy miles. 2020's pandemic klaxons wailed global, but Sarah's screen sealed sanctuary. Remote prototypes for shuttered shops at $50 an hour. $35,000 banked that year, amid masks and meal kits. Internally, code schooled surrender bugs as betrayals, 1 salvation. Line by line, she'd mantra through jams. Mia, 7 now, doodled mom's spells on napkins, pseudo-snippets that sparked belly laughs. Vaccines thawed Atlanta's freeze, beltline joggers reclaiming paths, and Sarah scanned horizons. Gig Guardian wasn't hustle, it was horizon. But pitching syndicates, a shelter alum's fever dream, who'd fund folly from the fringes. That fever ignited, sweltering on the 14th of July 2021, 2 years, 9 months post-vow, as Sarah beta-tested Gig Guardian with 50 Atlanta moms from shelter Facebook knots. 120 calls honing kinks over kitchen tables scarred by spill. Premium pings trickled $2,500 from alert add-ons, but Marcus prodded. Startup weekend pitch, nail it, seed flows. August's Embassy Suites ballroom swarmed 200 grinders, flip charts flapping like battle flags, pizza grease fueling all-nighters. Sarah drilled her deck 47 times in the halfway mirror, 15 slides crisp in Canva. Problem gigs bleed $1,200 yearly on kid wrangles. Solutions sync, predict, profit 20%. Demo hummed flawless, Q&A, a tightrope. Scales to Miami's mess, she volleyed, locking eyes with a Coke Ventures suit. Verdicts hushed the hall. First prize, $10,000 dev credits, angel intros. Hands quaking, she inked the check. Mia's fridge glyph, her lucky charm. October birthed $150,000 seed from Marcus's crew. App minted at $750,000 pre-money. Sarah ditched gigs, claiming a $300 month WeWork nook in Midtown. Squad sprouted lean. Georgia Tech dev part-time at $4,000 monthly. Publix pal turned marketer. Launches lurched a Black Friday server choke, ditched 300 betas overnight, but Sarah marathoned 96-hour fixes. IV coffee, her vein. Mid-2022 downloads detonated. 5,000 actives, Southeast-wide. $9.99 subs, churning $45,000 quarters. Uber affiliates locked. Geofences pinging parental gold. Annual haul? $120,000. First profit plaque nailed in their fresh Cabbagetown. 2-bed $1,800 monthly. Balcony kissing beltline whispers. Mia Montessori'd at $400 a month. Giggles ricocheting off Sarah's self-sanded oak. Twists knotted the ribbon. 2023's breach spewed. 200 emails. Midnight fury calls twisting her gut. She funneled $15,000 into audits. Savings singed, but users rebounded to 15,000 year-end. Trust forged in firewall flames. Jake Spector slunk once a boozy April 2022 voicemail. Big leagues now, huh? Deleted, blocked, but therapy unpacked it bi-weekly at $120 clips. Chamomile soothing old fissures. Accolades avalanched. SXSW keynote. March 2025 to 500. Voice thundering. I debugged from a parking lot. Forbes 30, under 40 crowned her. June's $2 million Series A fueling national rollouts. Yet the gem gleamed in the Thompson Resilience Fund Mia named $50,000 yearly to shelter moms for tech bootstraps. Evelyn Slott, a Gig Guardian alum. Team hit 8 in a Howell Mill loft. Revenue cresting $850,000, recurring by 2024. Scars? They mapped her stronger, not silenced. From that Cabbagetown perch today, the 19th of September 2025, Sarah Thompson, 39, and etched with earned lines, cradles black coffee as the skyline sprawls a reinvention testament under Georgia's equinox Sunday. The $8,500 debts, obliterated by 2020's grit, those 42 rejections, revamped into 450 resumes for her crew. The 14,000 KEDS miles, blisters birthing breakthroughs. Gratitude swells like the Chattahoochee after rains. To Jake's bolt, the chisel carving clarity. To Evelyn's flyer, the spark in fog. To Mia's blocks, the code of continuance. She's sewn it forward core algorithms open sourced for nonprofits. 200 mentees zoomed monthly on 1-hour hacks. No pedestals, just the hum that rock bottoms no crypt, but clutch gravel for revved escapes. Losses taught the rewrite. Stability's no script, but skills the quill. Anyone broke, betrayed, beleaguered holds the prompt. Your bugs? Debuggable. Your vows? Viable. Start scripting. The compile awaits. Comment day 1 below if this is your dawn. The highway's yours. Engines hot.